What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going over 10 things Marvel wants you to forget about X-Men. And let's get straight on the list with number 10, the Legacy Virus. Starting in 1993, this storyline ran for nearly 10 years, making it one of the longest in the X-Men universe. The plot revolves around the virus that was brought back from 2,000 years in the future and kills those with the mutant X gene over time. The frustrating thing about this was, despite dedicating almost a full decade to this concept, it had nearly no lasting impact on the series. Fans who read all these comics watched while many side characters in the franchise were picked off until the story moved on and the Legacy Virus was left behind to be forgotten with time. What's even more insulting is that just about any important character killed in this time was later brought back to life, making the entire chunk of time seem like a pointless waste to readers. Therefore, there was little development in the overall storyline. I guess that's why the massive amount of time dedicated to this plot quickly fell in the back of people's minds, only to be forgotten. Number 9, X-Men almost got cancelled. Nowadays, with the Marvel movies, almost everyone knows of the heroes on the screen, including the X-Men. The X-Men are one of Marvel's most popular and widely recognized franchise and has appeared on every type of media. It's hard to imagine that they almost got cancelled in the 70s. In 1970, X-Men simply began to stop publishing new content, and instead they were just reprinting old issues. This grueling process continued for 5 more years, and just when everyone began to think X-Men was officially cancelled, Giant Size X-Men was launched, and writer Chris Claremont joined the team, which made the writing process even better. The first issue, to be released in 5 years, had readers ecstatic, wanting them to read more material, and Marvel did provide them with just that. Thankfully, the X-Men continued, otherwise Logan would have never been made, and that's arguably one of the best Marvel movies to date. Number 8, Beak the Superhero. The X-Men are known for giving us some of the coolest heroes we've ever seen, but with having such a roster of characters, there's bound to be some flops as well. One of the best examples is Beak, whose lame name says it all. His amazing powers don't end at the beak though. He even has a pair of wings to go with it, even though he can't fly without his suit. After all, that would make him far too strong in a world with people who shoot lasers from their eyes or can move things with their mind. I guess when random genetic mutations are what grant most people their power in this universe, some people have to get the short straw. But honestly, this is just mean for the writers to make a hero so useless, and the thing that stands out the most about him is his bizarre looking bird face. Number 7, Wolverine was almost a badger. When most people hear about the words X-Men, their first thought goes to the iconic Wolverine, who's been the main character of nearly every film in the universe so far. This was a fitting name for the main hero of our stories because Wolverines are a generally lesser known animal that are widely regarded for their aggression. What's often left out of most fans' knowledge is that he was actually supposed to be another weasel, which was the badger. While sure, these two species aren't all too different from each other, the fact that far less people even know what a Wolverine even is ties into Logan's mysterious life. Interestingly, the reason the writers discarded this idea was because the connotation of the badger meaning to annoy someone. Number 6, Bailey Hoskins the Superhero. The poorly made superheroes certainly don't stop with Beak. In fact, this entire list could easily be compiled of such if we really wanted to. Quite possibly the most useless mutant to join the X-Men was Hoskins. He was the son of 2 closeted mutants and was living an extremely average teenage life. Before getting a superpower, it's first worth noting that his superhero name, Exceptional, makes him a contender for this list just for maintaining the stupid X puns. That aside, his worthless power was that he could explode, plain and simple. He would do it once and then he'd be dead. This must have been a massive blow to the boy to be told that he was going to school where he could be with all these other special kids, but he would be the worst of them all. Not everyone can have the coolest powers, but it almost feels like Marvel was picking on the poor guy, which is why I guess we don't hear from him anymore. Number 5, Kitty Pryde is racist. Thankfully, with a society now so in favor for racial and LGBT equality, it's no surprise that Marvel wants us to forget about their past characters being racist. In the classic canon part of the X-Men series, God Loves, Man Kills, the premieres is the prosecution of mutants. This is an obvious comparison to the struggle society was going through at the time with race and sexuality. There is a specific scene when X-Men member Kitty Pryde is confronted by a black man who calls her a mutie, which she claims to be a disrespectful term for mutant. Replying, she tosses out a racial slur in a politely sarcastic way. Even though the man called her a mutie, that term isn't all that offensive because they are mutants by scientific term. Marvel wants us to forget about this scene, especially today. Number 4, Our Z Supervillain. The dumb superpowers certainly aren't exclusive to the hero side of the fight. Perhaps the best example of an unimpressive villain that Marvel gave us in the X-Men world is Forearm. Once again, the name says it all here, as the character's main ability is the extra set of arms that sprout from beneath his original pair. This is combined with his unusual amount of strength, but once again, these powers just can't compete with near godlike powers possessed by others in the franchise. Whenever he makes an appearance, his plan seems to be easily foiled by any superhero. It's a sad fact that in the X-Men world, not every superhuman can compete equally, and so many will have to take the backseat to their stronger and more flashy peers. Number 3, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, and X-Men Last Stand. Superhero movies have always been extremely popular, but that does not mean all of them are. With 10 X-Men universe movies in existence, there were bound to be some bad ones. 2 movies in particular that Marvel wants us to forget are X-Men Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine. The extremely bad writing in X-Men Last Stand basically forces fans to forget that this is even in existence of this whole storyline. And X-Men Origins Wolverine caused even more trouble. So many people hated this movie that X-Men Origins Magneto was cancelled and the Deadpool solo movie was put on hold. Let's not even get started on what they did wrong with Deadpool in that movie. The next film, X-Men First Class, was virtually a soft reset on the entire franchise. Good thing they did that because the movies are getting a lot better now. With Deadpool 2 on the horizon, fans can't help to get excited. Number 2, Chuck Austin. If you're a comic book reader, especially for the X-Men, then chances are you already know who Chuck Austin is, and he's probably most known as one of the worst comic book writers in history. The amount of times he carelessly and poorly wrote about X-Men in his own way are endless. Here are some examples. He wrote about Angel and Husk having sex mid-air over the mother of Husk. Nightcrawler was the son of a demon. Iceman rebuilt himself with Havoc's piss. An important character was based off of his wife, and an anti-mutant group tried to destroy a Catholic church by faking a rapture. Catholics don't believe in raptures. Afterwards, many of the following writers chose not to continue where Austin left off, leaving Austin despised by many. Luckily, he did not continue to write for X-Men. Number 1, Generation X, the movie. Airing in 1996 on TV, this movie was based off of the comics that shared the same name. The story revolved around a group of young mutants from a school for gifted adolescents, similar to X-Mansion. Although low budget, some characters include Emma Frost, Banshee, Skin, and Jubilee. Fans were frustrated when Jubilee was played by a Caucasian actress rather than an Asian American one. When the director was asked about this, his response gave the impression that he did not even read the source material. On top of that, the poor writing and filming quality left few very thoroughly entertained. Obviously aimed towards teens and youngsters, the Breakfast Club meets X-Men feel was not appealing at all. With nearly being forgotten after all those years, we see young mutants in the newest X-Men movie, Logan, so we might be seeing a reboot of some sort. And hopefully this time, Generation X the movie will actually be good. And that is it for the video, guys. As always, we hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Valplana, and I'll see you all later.